Hello, and welcome to what is hopefully going to be, if not the penultimate, then the penultimate of my Factorio Megabase streaming series. By penultimate, I mean that this is either going to be the stream before I call it done, or the stream before the stream I call it done. So all the levels and everything look to be okay. I think we've got everything going on. I think it must have been fixing some kind of line fault the other week, because I've not had any further issues with internets. Also, my internet speed seems to have really jumped up. Seemed to have almost doubled the speed. In terms of download. Upload doesn't seem to change. I think that's just because it's... Download something that I would normally expect to take an hour in about half an hour. Right, so shall we get started? So I have been very busy with the Megabase, but also not very busy. So there's a lot of hours happened. It's now doing this. It's taking ages to load. Now that was actually one of the shorter ones, because the file is so big and there's so much in the game and all that sort of stuff. We are over here. We are at... that doesn't really help, does it? We are at purple science, basically. The reason being that I have been, through the week, I have been testing the Megabase. So I've been running it for a bit with one of the bigger sciences, and sort of seeing what happens. And now I have identified some issues that I fixed, and there are probably others, and some that we still need to fix. In particular, the adding of more blue science resources. So I'll explain that in a minute. So basically, the big thing that's happened in on this save in this game is I now have even more solar panels. I actually considered naming this stream. I might rename it actually. To 1 million solar panels, because I now have more than 1 million solar panels. So if we do that, we have 1.0 million solar panels. So that's a lot of solar. So what's basically happened is I've added on... So this was before, last week, this was just half of this. And I've added this whole section of solar. It's slightly more panels, and we can fit a few more in, because it's going to be right on the cusp of whether that can run the base. So you might have seen there from the power chart that turbines are off, and have been off for ages. So, so about that many hours ago, I turned off the nuclear. Okay, so we are now running completely on solar. Well, come back to that in a minute. We're now running basically on solar, and there is this much headroom. So basically, go for the 10-minute. This is the headroom we've got to play with. Because what happens during the night? I have slightly too many accumulators. We'll kind of come back to that, but I basically, what will happen during the night is the accumulators will run and power the base, and will provide basically the same amount of power as the actual panels. And then this, where it hits the max at 72 gigawatts, is is basically the time it takes to charge the accumulators. Now I happen to know that all of this added together is about 15 gigawatts. So we've got basically enough to run the base on solar when it's doing science. So when it's all kicked in, Because I have taken out some laser panels, and laser turrets, for example. And there are some other tweaks we can do. We've still got a heck of a lot of radars, which I just don't really need anymore. So we can chop a load of them out, for example. I switched. So I guess the other thing to show you is I sort of switched the white science mining from bot mining to belt mining in the majorities, as in for the main, for iron and copper. Coal is still bot mining because this was taking hours to do. It wasn't complicated, it was just a grind of adding them all on. Because I was hoping that I could just replace. Now, obviously, this had, miners on it before. I was hoping I could just stick in belts and we could, feed it in. But the bot mining was all set up differently. I had a different number of smelters and all that sort of stuff. So what I've had to do essentially is, the one I worked out. Did I use it on this? I must have used it on this. I've replaced it. Oh, but it basically meant picking everything up and sticking it back down in slightly different places with 1,000,000 belts on. Now the slight caveat to the power thing is we are running a boatload of steam, because what was happening, basically the only thing this base was doing for ages was making solar panels and accumulators. And while it was doing that, I could make belts, because obviously solar panels use accumulators use sulfuric acid, and therefore there was a drain on the petroleum gas. But once I'd done this, I didn't have anything consuming petroleum gas. So what I did is I chucked in a really dirty, horrible, quick and dirty thing here that is basically, as you can see, it's an absolute mess, and I'll probably blow it up just to get rid of it eventually. But this was the wood burner, and I've added on some things here just to eat, like petroleum and light oil. And as you can see, they've already filled up chests and chests of stuff. So there's probably no, it's going to take you hours to burn through all of that. And that meant that it would then produce lube, basically, for the belts, because I ran out of lube. And there was I've disconnected all the science here, so there's no other drain on oil. So I just threw this in in 5 minutes type of thing. As you can see, it's now full, so it won't be making lube anyway. But now I've done all the, well, we haven't. We got to put all the blue stuff in, but we should hopefully have enough kicking about to do that, basically. But so what happens with the power? And it's tiny. It's producing whatever this is. You can't even see it on the graph. In fact, if we take them off, what is it producing? 144 megawatts. So nothing, which probably would run most bases, but it's nothing compared to what I've got going on. So I don't know. With the power, I don't know if it's enough to actually run the Megabase, because there are several questions. There is only one science, right, that uses all of the science packs, and it's this one, Follow a RoboCat. It's absolutely no use to me. I'm not using combat robots, but it uses every science pack. So the ones I've been testing with, and I figured, this is how we'll demonstrate the Megabase running. We'll set all of them going. So the testing I've been doing has been with mining prod, and also the artillery range, because the range, it turns out this one, 9, is now at 500,000 science packs, which is a lot. I didn't know it ramped up quite so quickly. So I've kind of only done one more, because the other one was like 250,000 or something. Or it wasn't even that, I don't think. Like 1/8 of them. And the one after this, I think, if I hit, it then goes to 1,000,000, so it ramps up really quickly, that one. So I've done a bit of that, and that allowed me to see if the military science was working. I've not really done much more testing on that. The one I've really been obviously focusing on is mining prop. Although I did also have that running for a bit, because that's 500,000. But yeah, so this is still pretty low, so I can do a couple of sciences on that, and they actually finish, and it's a useful science to be doing. But it means military science and blue science has not been run at the same time. Anyway, the way I did this, basically, I cleared out the land. It's all been done legitimately, so the biters have been on. I cleared out the land, and I was able to do some bits of work while I was doing that. So these bots, for example. I cleared out the land, and then basically I just left it running overnight with the train going back and forward, because I haven't put in a solar panel factory because I just couldn't be bothered. So it's just been running overnight, making solar panels, filling this in basically. And well, it actually took 2 nights, but and so it was horribly inefficient. But it's done. But I don't know if it's enough. It could be the maths on it is just literally like on the cusp. But the other thing, now that this is switched, I mean, this is why I've not taken it out yet. Really, I need to take it out so that it stops doing the heat pipe maths and all that sort of stuff. But I've left it in case I want to switch it back on, because we can move these. These are the requesters back to here. That's how I've switched it off, basically. I've cut off the fuel supply. So we could stick them back on if we have some disaster where it all just looks like it needs, another 5 gigawatts or something. We can turn the nuclear back on to get the base, running again. But there's another couple of quick fixes. If it's only slightly short, I'm going to turn the biters off, basically. So tomorrow there probably won't be any biters on the map, and that's done via a mod. So I don't think I could do it from here, but it's just a mod called biters be gone, which switches them off. It basically deletes all the biters, takes a while to run, and stops them from spawning, and basically. But because it's a mod, I could obviously then turn them back on again. But we'll turn the biters off. And what that will allow me to do is, if we're a bit short on power, I can delete. I mean, I'll probably delete them all anyway, but we can turn these off. I can just delete a couple of power poles and we can turn them off. I can pick up all of the solar panels. I've taken out all the flamethrowers because they are fairly UPS heavy. But yeah, so we can take out all of the, laser turrets, and that'll get us another 1.3 gigawatts. Yeah, and as I say, I need to chop that one down anyway. And that will probably tip us into being in balance, I think, because it's really close if it, if I'm right, sort of thing. So yeah, so basically that's the main thing I've been doing. But as when I was running it, what happened? Say, I wasn't running the science. I didn't leave the science running overnight. But I had done some testing, and these guys were still like refilling themselves, stocking back up again. And what happened was a gigantic train jam caused by this junction. I should have fixed these junctions first before I left it running, but I didn't. But the actual cause of it, I believe, was a train from Blue Science that had run out, didn't have access to materials in this in this set here, because they've only actually got like 4 stations for copper plate. So it's not actually a lot, because the other massive flaw I've discovered with this is the trains will not come here unless literally every single other station is out of stuff, because they have the ability, and this is a flaw in the whole design, and something we can easily fix by turning the biters off, because if I turn the biters off, I do not need the outer ring of trains, so we can turn all of them off, and I can get rid of all of these junctions. But effectively, where my intention is that the trains will bring resources in based on, a local supply. So White Science is only grabbing, stuff from this area, is the intention. But because of this system, basically I needed a way to get both, artillery trains and outpost trains out, and the science trains. So this junction means that effectively those two networks are connected. A train, so for example, a red science train can go out here. I mean, it can actually go around there, but it can, because these are loops as well, you see, another flaw in the design. It can go around a loop and come back again and get onto this outer ring. So if this didn't have access to any resources, it could say, right, well, where's the nearest resources? Oh, it's down in white science. In this case, it would be, say it wasn't a red train. And so it would come down here and it would be able to access this. So I need to flip all of these to these junctions, which means the trains cross, but they can't get out. Or basically I can just delete the outer ring sort of thing. But I need it for outposting, but it means that the trains can get round in the loop. So effectively what a blue train had done is, I suspect, come up here. It was looking for copper. Couldn't find copper in these. These were closed. So it goes, right, where can I get copper? And it discovers that actually there's a copper, because it does all the pathing. It was probably up here, and it said, right, there's a copper station up here, maybe this one. So it came up here, because it could turn round. Well, it couldn't turn around there. It could turn around here. Right? And so it's pathing up here. And my intention is that, I mean, there isn't actually a copper over here, as it happens, but my intention was for it to come out here. Yeah? But it's not going to do that, because that distance is far longer than that distance. So it goes to the shortest place. See? So that's a massive flaw in the design. These are basically pointless, but it also means I can just delete. I can just, well, not delete, turn the power off. Because the trains are never going to come over here. Well, either I can, turn the power off, or, well, I can probably just turn the power off. Because what we're going to do is we're going to grab some iron and copper from here. Now, there isn't actually that much copper, so we may need to do another. But what I can also do is connect it up here, and then it will grab resources from the because there's more than enough here. So, but that's like a testing thing. Anyway, I'm prattling on. What were the other things I fixed? So the nukes are off. We need to adjust this, because I don't want the science to run faster than too much faster than it's been produced. Obviously, I've taken out the beacons from everywhere here, so that's another bit of a power saving I've done. I'd done my priority splitter thing here, which is just rubbish for what I was trying to do. Because what that does is it means that these get fed and these don't, basically, because it's not producing fast enough to saturate two belts. So instead it needed a splitter, so I stuck that in. The other one I fixed was, or I think I fixed, not 100% sure, but hopefully I have, is on the blue science. It was not getting green circuits, and that was a design problem, because this wasn't like this. It was up here, so this underground went to here, and it wasn't actually getting the material in. In fact, I think actually it was, connected to this. It was like trying to feed it into the wrong side of the hub, the hood rather. So I've added, I've tweaked it more than that. I've actually added, it can do lots of copper this way, so that these green machines are really, spoilt for choice in the amount of material they've got. Because these are overkill, and it can feed like 6 machines, I think. So, there's massive amounts of copper. This line is going to be full basically all the time. So hopefully that fixes that problem, because this was only running at about 4,400 because it wasn't getting the green circuit. So hopefully that's working. What else have I done? We are here because we need to fix. This is an issue, and you can see it in the train. I left the train. In fact, I might as well pop them both on manual, just so that you could see it. The train is not unloading in any way. I mean, they never unload fully even. But we've got a completely empty carriage, half full one, half full one. You see, I mean, it's quite unbalanced in what it's done. In fact, this is actually worse, I think. So that's empty, 2.3, 2.3, empty, empty, 2.1, 2.1, and it's because I'm feeding in this balancer isn't balanced for an 8 to 10 system. It doesn't work like that. So it's basically, you know, emptying these. And as you can see, this is completely empty because it's feeding all the material in rather than these, which are completely full. So we need to rework this, and that's why we're over here. And then we'll go and add, you know, more blue sites on, and then we'll kick off with some proper testing. Because this is a longer term one, but we could go and fiddle with that as well. What else have I done? So, in fact, let's get that deleted. Hopefully that's fixed, so we're done. Oh, plastic. So this wasn't... No path? Why are you giving me a no path? Oh, because you're trying to go to... Why were you trying to go to the resources? This was me. When I was fixing it, I was having to send trains or randomly... The temporary stations thing is really good for fixing bottlenecks. But what had happened... Oh, sorry, I didn't finish that story. Basically, I can't imagine it had come down here to get resources. I imagine it had gone up here. But then to get back... Because this is... They don't consider the path back when they do the pathing out. But it meant it had to go all the way around here. And so I'm pretty sure it... You know, it got stuck because it was an 8... It's a super long train. And I think it got stuck here. Somewhere. And then basically that caused the backlog. So they completely blocked the junction. Because these junctions, as I've said before, they're not set up for the train length we've got. So it probably... I think it came across here. And there was probably an artillery train here. Or something like that. And so effectively... You know, it had too many trains of too long going across these junctions, and both there was, and you could actually, so there was actually a train here that was through this junction and one across it. Nothing had crashed into each other, but basically, you know, the trains are too long for the train system. So yeah, so it blocked that, and then this whole thing just log jammed, and it also trapped all of the things, and it was actually in danger of them like cutting off all the, like them putting, you know, bases down and cutting off all the train lines. I mean, you know, it would have been recoverable, but it would have been a heck of a lot of work. So yeah, so when we turn biters off, we can fix all of these junctions because we don't need outpost trains anymore. Anyway, are we going to do some actual work, or am I just going to talk all day? I'm going to talk all day anyway, but... Right, so, yes, we need to fix these. And probably the best way of doing that, or the simplest thing to do, just cut this off. Because I can take the stuff out of, you know, I can pick, oh, I don't want you grabbing it because you'll fill up with, not got inventory slots, have you? In fact, I don't even know where they're from. That's just some random rubbish. But we can put the stuff back in the train, basically. Oops. Chuck it in the train, or in the things. Why have you got those things? Somebody else. Right, let's send you well out of the way. Because the bots are very, very useful for building. A bit of a nightmare for picking stuff up. In fact, I might be better off if I just pack a load of stuff in random chest. And we can... Yeah, because we got loads of empty things. I'm going to take all of this up. I'll do the other one as well. Chuck that in there. Have I got that? We'll basically do we'll do an 8 to 8, and then we'll do use some other balancers as splitters effectively to, because there's too many inputs basically. So there's 10 inputs, and of course my balance, you know, I've got the 10 to 10 balancer. But I haven't got, you know, like an 8 to 10 balancer. So that's essentially what we need to... Did I put you on manual? Yeah. I don't want it running me over, basically. But yeah, so say the plan or the hope today, my hope, is that we'll end up doing some testing. You know, that it won't take me all day to put the blue resources in. I'm not going to connect it to the yellow science, but that's the backup. Basically, if we do end up with some testing, and it still doesn't have enough resources, connect it to the gold science. And fingers crossed that will. Waiting for. Fingers crossed that will sort the problem. Again, I've got 10 here. Yeah. Right, so we'll pop an 8 to 8 in. I would have done this before, but just you know, apparently there are only so many hours in the day. Bit of a shocker, I know, but so what we need to do is take an 8 and turn it into a 10. So we can do that with 2 4 to 5s. I'm not going to bother about whether that's like enough, if you see what I mean. If I put that there, I won't be able to put that there. That's fine. We just put that there. And then we want good old corners. Yeah, I've learnt so much during this playthrough. And I haven't even done any of the, you know, thing that I think most megabasers spend their time doing, which is the whole optimization thing. It's taken me all this time just to even make something, you know, that has a hope of producing the amount of science. Which is why I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna spend episodes and episodes doing optimization. I can turn it on, and it basically works, even if it's at 20 FPS. I'll call that a success. As I say, it shouldn't be that low because we were running it before. We're running it before and it was basically okay. Now what? I mean, I'm just going to leave it, but you see now more of these are running. But what, you know, it'll empty out the trains now. But say, it shouldn't matter too much as well that all it's done is filled up the belt, but it shouldn't matter. Well, actually, I think I will just send it back and forth a couple. Let's do that. Because actually, it does matter. I need the trains to be roughly. Yeah, so we'll have to run that a few of the trains through. You know, manually send them. Oh, I should have copied that. Sorry. Manually send them back and forth in order to fill the chests up. If I just do that bit, should literally there. Is that right? No, that's wrong. Yeah, there's one tile. Yeah, there we go. Actually, that's. Right, so we want there. And then just get rid of it. No. Okay, what are you doing? Yeah, I need them to be even because they have this condition that of like I don't need them to be, but any unevenness will kind of cause. Effectively, the fix won't matter. See what I mean? Oh, yeah, I will. So, I got a loading. see in here. Right, so pop them in. Grab that. Fill the rest of it out. Turn the belts round. So, yeah. I had my first, like, spammy bot. Oh, I filled this bit yesterday. Satisfactory stream yesterday. It's one of these that offers to sell you followers, and it's, but I guess that's something people do. But, banned it, so I've had my first chat ban. In fact, let's send you. So I'll have to run this through a few times because I want them to be, you know. That's now sendable. Right, let's bring this lot back. So we'll assume that's done. I can take that out because we've done that. That out. It's just now train fuel plus the beacons we might do. I'm going to assume this because it doesn't seem to have recreated the problem or repeated the problem of the things. I think that's now fixed. Hopefully the plastics is okay. We might need to, what I've essentially done is I had two balancers because my thought before was, you know, split it into two, like we've just done, basically two different things, and then I can split. So effectively got three coming in, turn it into, I think I turned it into 5, and then split this into however many that is. 1, 2, 3, 7, I think. 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah, 7. So I then added like a 2 to 7, and then this down here was another balancer with, making however many that is, 11 or something. That can't be that many. But what I've effectively, there's all sorts of it. These are from when I was fixing it, basically. There is, I think this. Oh, you're off, are you? Okay. Bye bye. There's all sorts of little bits and pieces like that, which is from when I was giving the trains temporary, you know, orders. But the temporary train things are really useful for unclogging the system, I've discovered, because they won't do anything in terms of. You used to do it all manually, which, you know, was just a pain in the bum, basically. It's going to take quite a few because I need to fill up these chests, basically. This is the issue. And there's one carriage basically coming in each time. I mean, what I'll do, you know, before tomorrow, I will actually run, you know, make sure everything's full up and all of those things so we can test it properly. In a way, it's sort of cheating because I could hide, you know, any problems by doing that. That one. You know, I could fill it all up and it would run for hours without, you know, actually having to do it, you know, do any restocking. I might, I think, get rid of that. I think I'll leave that as a bit of a reminder. Oh, these bots, this is just where, because obviously there were thousands of bots, and this is just where I've ended up with some left. I just put a little note, otherwise I forget where their chests are. So, you know, I should really tidy them up. But then all of these stations are just full of rubbish. But, yeah, what I might do, I think, is add, you know, we'll add certainly 2 iron, because we've got, well, we do both of them? Yeah, we'll add 2 iron on. And we'll add that copper and that copper, so we'll add 2 copper. We have sort of that option. It's a bit of a pain. We'll need to get the landfilling guys in to do that one. But yeah, well, you know, we could grab that as well. And that's what we'll do. So I say we'll put 4 in, basically. So we'll put 4 resources in. It should be okay. No, I clicked on the wrong thing. Because the other thing we need is oil and coal. Oh, that's the point. This, I can tweak. I can replace this effectively back to, like, you know, slap on the new, like, you know, the new version of the the oil loading one basically. So we can just delete all this because it's just tanks are really easy to replace. Just sort of turns it into pollution. Oh, here, okay. But yeah, I think we should be okay with coal because actually, because that'll then give it 4 oil stations. And oil's pretty quick to load, so I don't think that'll be any kind of problem. Coal, though, because this one, the military, that has iron, which is why. Because also, obviously, this is feeding the military as well, but we may not bother with doing military. We'll have to see. But it's got plenty of access to stone brick. This also needs coal. You see, it's copper and iron as well, so really we should add on extra. If we do need more stuff, if this adding it on here causes disasters, adding it to gold, I'll just go and, I say, after we've turned the biters off, I'll just go and grab these, so they won't be outposts, they'll just be, mined facilities, because they're quite close. So it won't be too much difficulty. But yeah, so there's quite a few stone brick, really, I think. No, there isn't really, is there? I thought I had another stone. Because we've got 2 coal there, you see, 2 coal there. So we may need more stuff. Oh, here you go. So you got a combined iron and... Sorry, combined stone and stone brick. Why do I need stone? I don't need stone. Why is there a stone station? Huh. So I guess we could convert that to stone brick. That might be a bit painful. I don't know why there's a stone station. Yeah, so that's what we'll do basically. If it don't work with these 2, we'll just add in. I guess I could grab those coal. Anyway, yeah, let's get on with it. So. Found I've been doing a lot of that sort of second guessing myself. Is that the... No, that's the wrong one. No. Because I kind of want to get it finished. I mean, what we'll do... I might actually start like 2 streaming series. Because the other problem with this is it's probably a bit too intense. You see what I mean? It's a bit too... I've done it full on. I don't know that was really a good idea. I should maybe have done some other series that I could intermingle it with. Let's see, if we put this, say... so we want a bit of room for balancers to... 16, couple of luck. Oh. If I line that up with the bottom, in fact, yeah, that should be okay. What's that? So that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 11, 12, 16. Just double check that. Let's do that at this end. $70. Brilliant. Can I do one of them? Oh. It's all filled out. This is, I mean, this is what I was doing with the thing. The tricky bit is, or not tricky, the time consuming bit is like going back and forth for resources, but because we're close, it's not actually all that, not as difficult as it was for the outposts. Right. So let's... 2... 6... 7. Okay, so we need a 7 to 8. So, I mean, the other time-consuming thing is putting the belts in. There's one thing bot mining does save you. It's a lot of time messing around with this sort of thing. And probably grab that from... So, it's here. So we want... That's so 3 rather, 4. Oh. 7. Tap. Oops. I was hoping I might be able to sort of blueprint a lot of it, but actually you kind of need to work out. That's too close, isn't it? Okay. In that case... Oh. I could put that further up actually, because I can put that up there. So, why? Round. So we can take this sort of. Yeah, I think that's not thing. So. But yeah, I was sort of trying to line them up, you know, in a standard way. Like, you have to do it individually each time. And if you want to be all neat and tidy about it, then you end up picking the thing up loads. Just very time consuming again. Where's that? There it is, isn't it? In fact, are there no? Oh yes, there are. Let's get rid of the trees. Let's see what I'm doing. Ended up going anyway. Oh. Right, so let's connect all this up. Yeah, they sort of end up being, you know, like bespoke things anyway each time. Saves might sort of takes a while. Cool. So we can probably... It's not going to save as much time, I don't think. That... You... And 7 to 8 again. Enough room? That'll be fine. Let's take you to there. So... Apparently we're going to go to war with France. I was reading this morning. Appear to make the formal move of deciding that their seas are theirs. Where they could possibly have got that idea. It's almost like we should be in some sort of union with them? I don't know. Evolutionary. Maybe if we were part of some political union that meant we'd share the seas? What a strange. Because really, we shouldn't be doing any bloody fishing at all. Just what oceans are sort of. Oh no, what's stuck? Oceans are suffering badly. We shouldn't really be fishing them, but there you go. Gotta have your fish and chips. Oh. So we then need basically, say, this down. Like that. But we need again. What happened? Unfortunately, I would probably tweak the blueprint if I'd been. But basically, these don't line up at one end, but do at another because they're slightly offset, basically. So we see it lines up perfectly there, and it lines up for each one. So it doesn't matter sort of where we put it. Some of them will be straight. It just makes it a bit easier, basically. So we want that roughly about in line, maybe. There. So I really want to line the fourth one up. Fourth one. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That would be about there, I think. And then we want plenty of room. Maybe a little more. Stick in the balancers. Again, you know, I say this is the thing I was finding, that sometimes I have to refiddle, you know, re-edit this and have the balancer there and to fit it in. But we got lots of room here, so didn't have any problems like that. And then we'll put the other one in because I always forget. I don't. Did I overlap it with that? I did. Righto. And then, so I say that should be straight in. There we go. We can rest. So. The famous quote. There's one of those laws, you know, like the, I can't remember who it was, the one that, you know, eventually all internet. Oh, can I help you? All internet arguments at some point essentially devolve into someone comparing something to the Nazis. They call them maxims, I think. Something like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there's one of those that's basically like every quote is like attributed to Churchill, basically. Because he said sort of so much quotable stuff. So there's like almost an assumption that he must have said some famous quote, but I'm pretty sure he did say this one. Maybe not. Which is that democracy is the worst form of government. Except in, of course, for all the others. It's something like that's the paraphrasing. I think it's actually which is the worst form of government, second only to all the others, or something like that. The point being that democracy is horrible. It's a bit of a rubbish system, really, when you think about it, because it gives people power to people who don't know anything. Essentially, or that have a lot of prejudices or not nice people. One of the reasons most democracies exclude criminals from voting. It's that logic that people who've, as it were, proven themselves to be antithetical to the aims of society. What's going on? Yeah, no, that doesn't work either. It's a bad idea. Disenfranchise people, and then they don't see any reason to participate. Anyway, but yeah, I say it's supposedly a Churchill quote. That how do I actually want to hook this in? Because I need the glue to be connected. What I could do is move this down to here. But at the moment, I'm going to have to bring a train line up here. That wouldn't be so bad if I put a connection in there, junction in there. So we can come up here, do a little branch off this one, take it up round here. This can be the end of the line, and branch off for that one as well. Yeah, that'll do. So we need to connect it over here. I'm not going to... I'll do that last, basically. Has everyone filled everything out? What we want to test it for now is the... does it run? Have I missed anything off? Have I misconnected anything? Any belts backwards or missing? There you go, there's a backwards belt. One. Good there. Everyone kicking in? Looks like it. Take a little while to trickle through. Oh, that looks weird. It's reflected. It's because of the convex effect. It's the green screen. So going invisible. Oh, right. Something's wrong here. What's happened there? Oh, that's disappeared. That's probably why I've got. It's probably from doing that type of thing. That's running. You all got iron plate now? I should see some come through. Yep, there we go. Oh, there's a bit of belt mist there. They've just not plopped that in. That's all good. One of the reasons I've gone with 8 here is to try and save on the power a bit. Because 9, it takes 9 to fill it, but the 9th one doesn't run for, you know, like 100%. So I kind of figure it's almost wasted. What we could do, you see, is we could have one without 12 beacons on either end, and that would fill the belt as well, because it would still get the beacon effect from these 4, and would mean less demand for power from beacons. So I'm hoping this is okay, but I say it's sort of the... And I bet this is terrible for optimization and stuff, but it's why I've put so many resources in, because I'm kind of assuming that these will, you know, although it'll end up with about 6 trains worth, I think, once it's full, but then they'll consume it quicker than it's replaced, basically. So there's a lot more stations for trains to go to and do, you know, and grab resources, basically. So I'm going to call that working. So we need to rename this to iron plate, which is there. I still haven't figured out why I've got an uneven number of these. I think it's because I've called the... It's like 49. I think it's because... Oh, that was one of the things I discovered. There was an error. There was literally one piece of train track missing here. So this wasn't accessible. We didn't run out or anything, but it was just... There was a train that had gone there to fill up, and then not been able to fill up, basically. Right, so... We want to grab this one, I guess, next. I'm thinking we build this one downwards. You know, and that gives me a bit more room. I mean, I could always bring the train line around there, couldn't I? I'm just thinking if we do end up having to grab the coal, well, we can do that much more easily. So the big thing here is running out of belt. We can do 2. Also there's not enough fast inserters, but generally those run out only if I do some coal ones. No, other way around. Those have been running out when I've used all the other material in coals. Makes sense. Right, so we'll plop in... Get out this time. Plop in these. Well, I kind of to be, you know, I'm sort of making up for. I never really did the blue science. I never really put the resources in. So we're always going to have to do this, even if I was still outposting. It would have been, you know, basically the same as this. Or the same, you know, the same job sort of thing. Let's send you over there. Belts around. I'm just estimating, you know, where's you know, what will give me roughly half, because the things run at such a an overproduction rate. Oh, what I didn't do? Did I? Got requests on? Oh, yeah, I didn't set them. So this should be 2,000. It's 200, I think. That's 200. This needs to be a. Just occurred to me I hadn't done that. So how many have we got here? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we need a 6 to 8 balancer. I mean, this is the other problem with white sort of, you know, the full 9 sort of doesn't matter, because some of them, the patches are quite small here, so they're not actually going to produce enough to fill them. Let's put these in first this time, so I don't get it. Must be there. Then that around. So this kind of feels like, also, I mean, I'll be frank. This kind of feels like Factorio to me. Bots are great in a way, but they're always a bit sort of soulless, really. Bot builds. Quite clinical. Which is not a bad thing. But, send them. Yeah. So we've done the balancing bit. We've not done. You know, the belt's moving around again. So about this, you know, 8 tiles basically. 7, 8. Couple extra luck. Do those 3. Shall we? Could do another one. That wasn't there. We would have 6, 7. 16. That pokes out quite a way, doesn't it? So maybe if we do move it over 1 more. And the 5th one. 5th one. Be down here-ish. I think. Is that right? Oh, what are you moaning about? Shut up. Right. So that should be 5. Yeah. Cool. You see what I mean? This is different to the last one we did. So I couldn't really. It's different in terms of the number of belts that you know, number of belts it's producing. I've aligned this differently. Although I've obviously got the blueprints for the actual balancers and the mining. This bit of it, sticking the belts in where they need to go. Basically different each time. And I could, you know, this is too far down. You know, we could probably move this. I mean, we'll put this in and then, you know, we could move all of this up. But it makes so little difference, really. It does save you a few belts, but you know, literally a few. You know? Also gives me the opportunity to do things different like this. So now I'm putting the dog legs in down the bottom. Just because. Okay. All right. Run around a bit. Work out where to put the station. So it's lined up there now, so that's... I usually prefer it when it's like that. It's just a little bit easier. So we need a fair bit of room. Because the bounces are quite big. Yeah, I mean, you know, moving it up and down a bit sort of would save, you know, like 16 bits of belt each time. So unless you're moving it 1,000, you know, oops, 1,000 units up or something, you know, what's that, 16? You would need to do, know what it would be. $16, 32, 64. So yeah, if you moved it like 10 spaces, then you'd save one stack of belts. Oh. There's nothing. That's all. That way. No. Whoops, no. Oh. Oh. In fact, something's gone wrong. Oh, no, no. Yeah. Wait. Are we one short or something? No? Why is that not lined up? That's the... What have I done there? 8 there? Yeah. 1, 2. 8. 2, 2. What? Something wrong here, haven't I? That's wrong. That's 1 too many. Go. There we go. So now that goes to there. There. And there. There we are. That's the... Just do we go up there? Yeah, I'm gonna run down and we'll just randomly. Oh, get rid of wood. I'm not quite sure why I've got all that raw material in inventory. I've handmade anything for an age. So while they're filling that out, I'll just run down. Oh, hello, Ian. Is it working? Not quite yet. We need to feed Blue Science a bit more stuff. And it's kind of. The reality is, I'm sort of making up for never having done all of these outposts. So all these bits here where I identified outposts, where I should have put stuff in, I never actually did that. And basically, there's not enough. Not enough material really to run Blue Science properly, or military science probably. So we need to stick in a few more resource patches, and then we'll sort of start firing things up basically and see how things go. Hopefully that'll be this stream. It shouldn't take too long to put these in. I mean, basically, so there's 2 bits of iron, 2 bits of copper we can grab, and that should hopefully get us to a position where we can run it. If it needs more of everything, oh well, I need to fix that as well. If it needs more of everything, it needs some more coal and stuff. There is coal here as well. Let's say we will see, sort of thing. We can establish that via testing. Popping you. I'll have a run round because there's a patch missed here for some reason. Are we all out of beacons and stuff? Oh, right, okay. You're really out of beacons? Out of everything? Crikey. Okay. Okay. Why is there no power? Because I didn't connect. But yeah, my hope is that effectively this weekend is it. You know, because I've got a bit of time tomorrow morning. If some things do emerge as needing fixing, I can fix them. Oh, I didn't. If you've only just joined, so I went on a wibble. Just rattling on about all I've done during the week. So basically, this is new. So you won't have seen this. This is, I mean, I was talking about it last week. So I've added on solar panels now in all of this area, and we now have 1 million solar panels plus. I don't actually. That's rounded, obviously. Don't know how many there are, but there are more than 1 million. Which is a lot of solar panels. And the base is now running purely on solar-ish. I had to put in some horrible thing here to burn petroleum, basically, and light oil, because I couldn't make any. I didn't have anything that would use up petroleum in order for because obviously the lube is made from heavy oil. And so I ran out of belts. It wasn't making any belts. And even now, it's all a bit sort of slow and crap, basically. I added the solar field, yeah. So I didn't actually do it as such. I mean, obviously stamped it down, but I left it running overnight, basically, and it just filled out the solar panels, basically. Right, we're going to have to head back and get more stuff. Not quite. Oops. Quite got enough to finish this one off. I could. In fact, actually, if I hop out and I'll go and sort of. No, wrong. I'll go and fiddle about with that. Oh, it is running now. Okay. I guess it's running because it's. Yeah. It can't do all of them. So we've got an error here somewhere. There's no. Oh, there we go. It's just a missing bit of belt. It's not got filled in while we're doing it. Yeah, so I'm hoping, basically, I mean, I did a lot of fiddling about. I've chopped out a load of load of lasers. So these outposts, there's only 2 rows of lasers where there were 3. I've also taken the flamers out because flamers are quite UPS heavy. So we didn't need any of those calculations going on. If it's still, problematic with fluid mechanics, we can delete all the pipes as well. But I didn't fancy doing that. What else did I do? Obviously, these beacons here are gone now. So these are very, very slow and a bit rubbish, but they're not doing anything, so it sort of doesn't matter. I could just disconnect all of this, because once the base is running, once it's doing its science, I probably won't need this base at all. So we can kind of just turn most of it off if we need the power, because it's going to be literally a fine edge. I'll show you the power chart again. So this is our headroom. And as you can see, it's 33 to 62, so that's 19 gigawatts. But obviously, if it runs overnight, this will go way higher. And so it will take a longer time for the solar panels to charge the accumulators. And hopefully, effectively, you see that sort of missing chunk? That's our spare capacity to run the science. And I've done a little bit of, back of the envelope maths, and it should be okay, but it's literally, tiny bit different. And tomorrow, between today's stream and tomorrow's stream, I will turn the biters off, basically, so that we can test it a bit, bit better tomorrow. And if I do that, that should mean I can then, get rid of lasers altogether. If it's just literally, half a gigawatt off, I can just turn the lasers off, basically, or delete the lasers. And we'll be okay with power then. Because I don't fancy doing... if it's a long way off, if it needs an entire new solar field, that's even more reason to get rid of the biters, because then it will give me... I can just stamp down... I can just come out here and stamp down a load of solar as well, sort of thing, without having to clear them out. Right, yes, so let's put the train in place while everybody fills up with all sorts of useful stuff. Where do I actually want to come with the train? So if we go... So this will be like the end point of the train branch we can do. So we kind of ideally want to go around here because we need a bit of room for that. Yeah, okay. So if we sort of do a one here, and then maybe one straight piece. How up does that take us? Yeah, okay. And then corner there. Yeah, so I mean, if it doesn't go to plan, and I do need a bit more time, science just, there's a massive problem or something, then I'll sort of fix all of that during the week. It's too far down. And so then Saturday will be the, the final, here's the base running, it works. Maybe not very efficiently, but it works, But that'll also be the post-mortem stream. I want to do a stream where I just go through everything I think I should have, every lesson I've learned, as it were. And sort of, I'm hesitant to say mistakes I made because the whole point was to learn, But I'm not going to do what people usually do in Megabases is like optimize them for UPS to get as much, performance out of them as possible and have the game run at, an okay sort of speed. I'm not fussed about that. So long as it doesn't run at, 2 UPS sort of thing, which, it did when we tested it out last week, it didn't. It'll be okay. But yeah, I'm not going to do that whole stretch because it's taken so long. And there's stuff on it I know is, you know, broken, as it were. Not broken. Isn't going to work very well. You know, work, but it not very well. There seems a little point to, you know, I'd have to completely reorganise the base in some places. Like turning the biters off, you know. You know, people do that. You know, people play megabases without biters. I don't have any qualms about that, but I'm just doing it because instead of trying to optimise, get it to work that way, sort of know not much point. Sort of. Yes, even if I don't need to fix anything and it's all fine tomorrow, Saturday will still be the well, maybe 35. Yeah, I think it was about 35 UPS, was it? And that was with biters on, and it also had the nuclear. And not only did it have the biters on, it was actually clearing things out because I was doing this, and that's even more. Because one of the things we can turn off tomorrow is these artillery turrets, because artillery turrets are continuously scanning their entire coverage area. So they're continuously scanning all this to look for biter bases. And so if I don't have biters, I don't need them anymore. You know, so there's all sorts of little things, little benefits. Have we all filled up yet? It takes a while. Yeah, looks like we're all full up. Okay, so bring you back. Yeah, there's all sorts of little things like that I can do that, you know, are in a sense cheating. You know, but not in a way that I'm bothered about. I say, and the nuclear was running. And so long as we can, if we have got the power to run the base, you know, with maybe a few little tweaks like that, turn the lasers off and stuff, then I can properly delete the nuclear, because it's still doing all the heat pipe calculations, even though there's nothing happening. So it's spending the time doing all those. So if I pull it all up, then it'll just, you know, stop. So we need to do, in fact, I might as well start working on this one. The other one seems okay. Yeah, we're on the very cusp. I'm not intending, so the post-mortem stream, it'll either be a short one, because I'll write, you know, I'll make some notes basically as to what I think. I guess the way to think about it is how I would do it differently, as it were, next time, rather than what I did wrong. But, yeah, then I'll either start or, because I'm definitely going to do the no spoon run I was talking about last week. Definitely going to do that, but I might also start like a playthrough of Crash Story or restart my. So I'm quite keen to try some of these full overhaul mods, because I've never really played with them properly. It's because nothing's been. Right, so how many we've got? 1, 2, 3, 7. Okay. If I leave the nuclear in without giving me enough power. Well, so basically, I don't know, basically. My rough calculations, 4, 5, 6, 7. My rough calculations indicate that we now have enough solar to run the base, but they are rough calculations. So what will probably happen is it's not quite enough. You know, it's literally 2 gigawatts, you know, less, as it were. And so one option would be to fire up a little bit of this nuclear, you know, to delete most of it and just have one nuclear reactor or something. But it's disproportionately expensive to have the nuclear running. Particularly because of the... So basically these heat pipes, I don't know if you've been playing with nuclear, but these heat pipes, it does a whole load of calculations here because, excuse me, you see how it says 504 degrees and then 501 degrees. So it is actually doing a calculation of heat moving along the heat pipes. And you can actually, one of your design considerations for nuclear is that you shouldn't have heat pipes that are like massively long. They're not like belts, basically. They're more like water, you know, fluids. And so basically the heat declines, you know, on a curve. But it is a calculated thing. It's not just a linear drop. It is a calculated thing. So it's doing all that maths for all of these. Even though there's nothing happening, it's still doing all the maths. Because, you know, it can't check. It's checking for change, basically. And even though nothing's changing, it's still doing that check. So yeah, I mean, you know, in theory... Guys done yet? Go in here. You know, I kind of know that if I was planning on keeping playing with the biters, I would have to put more in, you know, more solar in. I don't think I can face that though. It's kind of broken me putting that solar in, if I'm honest. Right, so we're gonna need a bit of room for the belts. So 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 10. One more. Fit in there. 2, 7, 8. Oh, need to get rid of this bit as well. Wait a minute. I found at the hub why I can only have 20 turbines in a row. I didn't actually know it was that high, to be honest with you. I know there are... yeah, I mean, it's... they've kind of built nuclear as like the end game... Oh, I forgot to put... They intend nuclear as kind of being... how you would actually run a big base, and they said this in the Friday Facts and stuff, that at one point that what they consider to be, oh, I'm completely out of juice now, to be a, you know, oh, there we go, a big base that they would sort of want people to be able to play is actually much smaller than, you know, people build mega bases at. I can't remember what they said, but it's smaller than this. I think it's like 2,000 or so, something. Was their intention? Oh, not that, you know, I'm not saying that they don't want people to build big bases, but they're not fussed if these bases of this scale don't really work properly. To say they kind of intended nuclear to be the end game power solution, rather than a billion solar field, you know, solar panels, not billion, million solar panels. I think I said this, but basically the game treats all connected solar panels and accumulators as one entity. Just becomes a bigger and bigger single solar panel, basically. Is what they do. You sort of have no choice but to go solar if you want to do something this big. So that's one of the big learnings that... Because I kind of knew I was going to have to do something with modules. You know, to sort of a module factory of some description. My solution wasn't great, but I didn't know what I was doing really, so it's not surprising. But I had no idea I was going to need really to have built a solar panel factory. So, oh, wrong one. Do another pass, please. Oh, I can 20 times right. That was one turbine with one boiler. Oh, right, okay. One turbine. I'm not sure what you mean there. So you had one turbine. Oh, you mean boilers as in... Oh, right, so as in... It's actually called, these are called heat exchangers rather than boilers. And these are your boilers. Because these are... You can run these off of the nuclear, but these are like the equivalent. So these are heat exchangers. And they are, I mean, they've just strapped on an extra bit of stuff to it. But these operate at a much higher temperature, so it's like 1,000 degrees. I don't think they even turn on until it gets to sort of 650 or something. But you can also stick normal whatever it calls them. Steam engines on them. But what we probably need to do here, because I bet this is... Yeah. We need even more chests. I will probably come and blow this up at some point. Or something like that. Because it's not actually meant to do anything. It's just to get rid of the... Just one there. Get rid of the things. What have I done there? Huh? That's pointless. Yeah, it's just to get rid of the stuff, basically. Heat exchanger, yeah. So, yeah, the sort of the ratios. I don't. Do you know? So there's a website called Factorio cheat sheet. It doesn't have cheats on it. What it has on it is sort of the ratios, basically, and things like that. So, you know, when you're trying to work out, well, how many, steel furnaces does it take to fill a yellow belt or something like that? It has all of that stuff on it, pre-calculated. So, because I mean, you can calculate it yourself, sort of thing, or you can use, like Factorio Lab calculator and those sorts of things. But I generally find it easiest just to look on cheat sheet. Somewhere there. And what's that this time? That's not quite a line. Line. But it's a really useful little website cheat sheet. So if you just Google your... Oh. strange noise from outside. Well, that tells you it. So cheat sheet's got things like the sort of commonly used ratios for like solar and stuff like that. So the whole 25 to 21. I mean, it does actually show you the proper calculation. And the exact maths for it, but the whole 25 to 21. Oh, I did actually. That was another thing. It sort of ended up. My blueprint for solar is slightly off on the ratios because I ended up with like a deficit. I stuck in way more than I needed, but a deficit of accumulators. Is one of the reasons we were getting brownouts before. Didn't actually have enough accumulators to the number of solar panels, so it wasn't really able to run properly. That's wrong. I'm surprised these trees are so green. It's not pollution, but wrong way. Oops. Oh, missed again. It's okay, let's send them round. Up there. Go and connect the train up. Oh, the cracking. We want. Yeah, so this one here. Yeah. 113 to 138 to 114. So presumably that's slightly wrong. I couldn't tell you which way offhand. It's presumably got like one too few solar accumulators on it or something like that. I say that wasn't a problem until we got to the scale of having 1 million solar panels, and then that inaccuracy, you know, adds up basically. So if you're rounding, you know, your rounding's off. Then that error is just going to compound over and over again. Right. Then, oh, they wouldn't because I've not got. I thought I connected this thing. Oh, of course. I ran out, didn't I? Oh, and it's not connected. Right. Let's just quickly run down. Oh, missed it. Oh. So one tile off over it. Right, have you turned on now? Yes. Oh. Got there. Okay, we need to go and add them in. Right, question here. So let's them back in. Yeah, so I say, I mean, Factorio won't end on the channel or anything like that. I'll keep playing it Saturday and Sunday, but I suspect what I'll probably do is maybe Saturday. Well, this is the thing. If I have two things going at once, then it gives me options about what I do each day. I don't have to. Yeah, I can just play some Factorio as I feel, rather than sort of having to continue this series. Basically, I can then switch between doing, the new no spoon testing, and so something's wrong there. Let's go. Is that belt the wrong way around? Playing with the no spoon or playing Factorio or something. But then my kind of intention is to my personal playtime is to get cracking with my Satisfactory base, because it's sort of been languishing. I need to dedicate a lot more time to it, basically. But they've also recently put out a new update for Satisfactory, and a lot of it's the cosmetic stuff that I really enjoy. Can't see anyone not running or anything. Okay, we'll call that one done. So we need to change. Oops, change this out to copper. Out to. Didn't change these, did I? Okay. We're actually going quite quickly here, so I might stick in an extra coal one just in case, sort of thing. Got quite a nice coal patch somewhere. That one. Or that one. Both of them. Okay, we're going to connect that. I can disconnect this jury bit here. I guess if I build this way, then the connection can be there, and it's not going to be too bad with the junctions. Where would that be? That's that sort of distance. Yeah, it'd be about there, which is fine. Oh. Yeah, I'll hop out and go there. Out. Send you lot over there. Fill that out. Back. Oh, well, anything useful on me anyway? Actually. Trees are going to be right in the way. Let's get this one. Right, so that. 1, 2. Grab that. Can line it with the power pump. In fact, I grab 2. little bit less. Oh. There. Turn some of do I want that bit? No, I can't. Um 6. Okay. So let's have a look. Oops, 5. That needs to be. Okay. Oh. Oh wait, hang on. Oh, it's pointing the other way, wasn't it? Those need turning. There we go. Strange. So how's your base building going? I think you were talking about. Trying to make things a bit more efficient this time. Right, so we want a 6 to 8. 6. Oh no, it was bots, wasn't it? You were looking at putting bots in. Guess the bottom is the risk here. Go down. Sells it. So maybe bottom. Oh, wrong. So that. Maybe. It's too many, isn't it? 1, 2, 6. 2, 6. Yeah. So I need to take 2. So where would the train end up here? B. Yeah, it's fine. Oh, well, I'm bringing in more copper ore at the moment. I haven't started the bots yet. Okay. I have to line a few things out before I head that direction. Yeah, they're tricky bots because it's producing them in particular because they're quite heavy in resource cost. 6. 12. 16, cool. Or I didn't might bang into that thing there. Yeah, they're quite heavy resource costs if you think about them in terms of, so one of the sort of things it's easy to get, in a sense, distracted by is that an actual bot only takes half a second to craft. But a robot frame takes 20 seconds to craft. So it can be a bit... you might sort of think to yourself, well, I want loads of bots, so let's try and do, you know, 1 a second or something. But actually, it's more a case of thinking about how many you want in total. Because you can just have one machine making flying robot frames. And it's effectively that you need to think about. So how many bots do you actually want? Do you want 100? Do you want 1,000? How long is it that you want, you know, take to build them? And that's what you need to think about, rather than I want to make 1 a second or something. Because once you've kind of built them, that's it. You know, you don't really need, unless you're doing something at this scale. Because I've shown you the whole thing of reading robot stats out of the roboports, I think. I haven't shouted, I show you that. Because that's what you want to do, basically. You want to say, right, well, what do I actually want? Do I want to produce robots until I don't need any more robots? Or do I want to produce 1,000 or 100 or what? And you can use the roboport stats to basically, you know, do that. So that's not a lot. Yeah. So yeah, it might be worth lining it up with that, I think. Because that gives me a bit more room to fit the track in. So we want enough room for balancer, enough room for belts, and then a safety. Well, the other series I'd quite like to give it. It's like a base in a book sort of thing. More, I'll be honest, more for selfish reasons. In that I've never. So I don't. This whole. You know, I obviously use blueprints. You know, we've got loads of blueprints. More than is sensible, really. I don't have any personal blueprints. Because you can basically have blueprints that are your blueprints. But you would just have as you move between different games. I know a lot of players. I know a lot of, you know, Megabase players in particular. They have them. Really, if I want to do this type of thing again, which I think I do want to eventually, give it another go, implement some of the things I've learned. But also, I mean, I could use that in the spoon run as well. Just have the train blueprint. Well, I may not end up using. You know, like the solar one. I've obviously got that wrong, so if I tweak that, make it right, get the ratios right, just reuse it every time I play. I've always worried though that that sort of suck the fun out of the thing I enjoy the most, which is the designing and, you know, and building really. Cool. Okay, so I could have sent them back actually. Right, so let's go and trains. Where do I actually want to connect it? I do want to go a bit further along, I think. Not too much. We'll do like one straight bit and then. Like these, I could put, you know, I could have these as a, you know, the rail ones in particular. Stick them in the blueprint library. Okay. Are they out of stuff again? Oh no, they're just taking it away. Let's... I think I'll send them round again. Oh. And I'll run over... manually get rid of the... you know, the random power line I put. There we go. Check. That's working. So since it's only taken a little while, I might stick a coal one in as well. And fix the... Oh, that's a point. I never sent these guys. Yeah. How are we actually doing on that front? 2.3. Few more journeys yet. Everything is connected. Good. Have they run out of stuff? Probably run out of stuff. Let's see. Maybe my rail and mining rigs and solar field. Yeah, I say it's. I think they're the best candidates for sticking in into the My Blueprints bit. I mean, some of them need tweaking. This one in particular, the right-hand junction, needs tweaking because it doesn't work properly with the other ones. It doesn't line up properly, and I have to edit it every time, so that could do with tweaking. Just as an example, but like the straight rail, I might as well stick that into the My Blueprints thing because I build that exact same one every time I play. And like those junctions, I build that new every time, even though I've sort of got to the point where it's a bit like the balancers, you know, the 4x4 balancer, where I've built it so many, although I messed it up in this playthrough, ironically. I built this so many times I can do it from memory, and this one as well. So even though I'm, you know, designing it each time, I'm not designing it each time, I'm just copying it from memory. So might as well, you know, just, you know, transfer it between games. It's not requiring a lot of effort to do, in a sense. You know, I don't need to think about it a lot because I just know how to do it, having made it so many times. There is a bit missing there, I can already see. So some of these are sort of running because there's some bits and pieces, but why are you putting belts in if already been this? Where is belt? Is it? It's a green one. Here we go. Who is it? No. Who's got belts that's holding on to them? Oh, you've got a couple. So we've got an unpowered one. Because the other thing, I mean, one of the reasons I want to do it as a base in a book series is I can then make them available to other people to use. You know, stick them on Factorio prints or something. Or maybe on a website or something like that. Or just Google Drive, you know. Just as a sort of useful resource, you know, for other people to... It's there as well. Okay, so we're out of... what should we call it? Beacons and stuff. So we could send them back. And I could mine this, you know, I could set that up in the meantime. I want to connect that. Probably there's going to be best. Okay, so we'll send them back. Yeah, like the solar field, I say it's not actually, it needs some, it's obviously one, you know, accumulator short, so it needs a little tweak. But then once that's done, it's done, sort of thing. And I did, you know, it wasn't, I put in loads of accumulators just because I didn't know how far off it was. By off, I mean, so I say, there's like a thing where you basically have 25 solar panels to 21 accumulators. And that then balances out day and night. So there's enough power in the solar panels to power the, to fill the accumulators up during the day, as well as provide useful power, obviously. And then, you know, they then discharge during the night, and they're not perfectly balanced because, you know, it doesn't quite work like that way in the maths, but it's so near as damn it, you know. But, you know, so basically, if I've got 1 million solar panels, I should have, what's that, 20, 21, 42, 840,000 accumulators. But I stuck a load in manually. So we would actually only have about like 810 or something. I don't know what the accumulators. So my blueprint is just slightly too light on accumulators. So I say I would need to fix that. It's obviously just an error I made, or I was just a bit sloppy. I think actually I didn't care. I seem to remember not stating at some point that I just didn't care, as it were. I was like, you know, it's wrong, but it's fine, sort of thing. And then 1 million solar panels later, actually, it isn't fine. It seems. I keep saying it because I'm not entirely sure I believe it. And that's an incredible number of solar panels. I did actually look at so you can get the production stats up, and some of these are bonkers. So if we go for the all numbers, I've made in this save file 1.3 billion cables. and 790 million iron plates. And if you look at and obviously the solar panels, where is that? Down in the. So I've actually made 1.8 million solar panels, but of course a lot of them I've blasted into space on the rocket and stuff like that. Or, converted into, other, so the, personal solar panels and stuff like that. 1.7 million robot frames. So yeah, that's the other thing we'll do. So when I do the post-mortem, we'll go through some of the numbers. Just because I think it might be interesting. Right. Did I send them back? Or? Yes. Do send these guys again. Several more trips. So I can that's sort of the thing I can do between streams, tonight sort of thing. I can just send it back and forth half a dozen times type of thing. Right, so if we there. Oh, ones are super simple because it's just a case of sticking them straight into the veins. 2, 6, so we need a 6 to 8. Come up. On now. And then train. Lines up on that one. Do we want the train station? Do I want it connecting there? I probably want it connecting sort of there, maybe, really. Isn't going to work any. Okay, so let's just line it up like that. Gonna need a bit of room so I can. What can I fit in? No, let's give her a room. So yeah. Yeah. So see, the goal's nice and simple. Should I therefore put a second one in? What's actually using coal? So this is horrendous. If this doesn't work, which it probably won't, because it's an absolute mess. It's also got the same mismatched in and out, which this balancer doesn't appear to cope with. As you can see, in fact. Oh, that's fairly even. Yeah, a couple of those boxes are basically empty and those are half full. In fact, no, they're full. Yeah, this balancer, I'm sure it's right. I'm sure it's right. I don't think it's a wrong balancer. It's just some balancers don't cope with, mismatched in and out, basically. It's just one of the quirks of sort of how it does it. Are we all loaded up? Something's being delivered. Right, if there is, there consequential, so I'll bring them back. And send them... Finish this off. And I'll look at the... So I'm thinking... As I kind of get in here, we need to go that direction. So if we whack in a diagonal... Go on. Diagonal. That. Too many power piles. Let's get rid of you. Oh. Oh. Okay. Are we back yet? No, we're not back yet. I'll come and meet you. Or do I want to hook that up as well? Ah. Because there's quite a few bit of coal over here. The difficulty with the coal one is because it doesn't stack. It stacks at half the size. So, you know, one station of iron plate. It's like 2 stations. It requires 2 stations of coal. See what I mean? To provide the same amount of resource. And of course, coal. I'm using the coal as coal, so it's not like I can process it in some way. I mean, I guess I could turn it into plastic and things like that locally, but it's not really much benefit. But these use cut because it's grenades, you see. So it's just using the coal as is. But I don't think I finished that thought. But I'm basically, if military doesn't work, I don't care. I'll just unplug it basically, and we'll. Because a lot of people don't bother with military because there isn't really much to do with it. That isn't a bit redundant. I don't need any more laser power. They already wreck fighters straight away, Right. Wait for them to get here. We're going to do that one as well, and we'll call that done. I guess I could, let's wander up and redo this. Let's have a look at the blueprint. Here's the oil. The oil's still the old one from doing outposts. That's not it. That oil? Oh, that's not. Oh, there we go. Oop. There's oil. So it would line up there. Oh, it's the pipes and stuff. Yeah, I did it differently. Okay. So I could probably just pull it all up, basically. Yeah, that would probably be easiest, really. This is from where I was, pulling the lasers and stuff up. Got so much stuff in it. It's fine. let's see if we can stick that. Right. Yes, so I'll pull the whole thing up really. Get all that white water. That's all kind. Oh, of course, the fuel. Have I got any of them? And kind of a lot of these are just a complete mess, basically, in the sense that so much rubbish at the stations. It's like I've sort of lost interest in tidying up, really. Somebody's moaning about not having rest. Right. That bit should just be able to stamp this down now. Oh. You lot done? Looks like it. I don't see any errors. Need to be on this end, not up here. Oh, no, that's fine. Yeah, looks okay. So, and all this hopper, which is what. Again. Right, I'm going to stand over there. See what we can put out there. There's something missing. Apparently. No, all done now. I guess I should make sure this is all connected up. Okay, so we need to rethink this a bit because when I did it the first time, I think I hooked it all into a single tank. It's a bit distracting it flashing though. So yeah, okay. How many of these do I actually have? 25. I want to put it into 8 things. So 8, 16, 24. So we need 4 pump jacks and one will have 5 on it, basically. Where we kind of need to be. So, crikey. Might be easier if we just get rid of all of the pipes. One. Right, so I need 4 or 5. Well, 4 and then 1 5. Where? Maybe let's start at the top. I find that frustrating, the fact that the pump jacks, you know, when you turn them round, they don't actually rotate. They sort of flip. It's quite confusing sometimes. You know, so that should be. Yeah, it goes from there to there rather than there to there. It's quite confusing. Right, so that's that one. Hook you up. They're quite funny though when they're running really fast like that. A ridiculous nodding dog. Right, so that's those. Oh no, it isn't. It is. That's those 4 hooks. 1. So the we makes sense. That's a bit rough. Got that. Hook. Where do you... Sorry. Yeah, you're right where... I don't... I did this as well with ridiculous numbers of... I know it's in the way. You're meant to be replacing it. What? That's a second one. 1, 2. That's those hooked up. Okay. And we got stay here. Maybe hook together. Move this power. That. Now that come out of there. Add 1 more in, and we got 1 more. Oh. 4. Who's not hooked up yet? So we've got... That one doesn't even have any modules in it. Pointless one. Can I move you? Just delete. I need 1 more. So if we hook that one in. Oh. How am I going to get that one out? I could bring it out here. So that gives us 1, 2, 3, 4. Cool. How are my spiders doing? Not brilliantly. Why have you filled so little of it out? Stuff again. Yeah, I think oil is one of my least favourite bits of the game, really. Because it's like too fiddly, basically. You. Is that 4? 1, 2, 4. Yeah. Oil is one of the items you have to rework. Is that to like get more out of it, or is it just organisational thing? So I don't like oil because they sort of promised, basically. I'm probably exaggerating. It's a promise, but they were trying to rework the fluid mechanics because it's one of the problems. It's broken, basically. Fluid mechanics are just weird. Take that. Because nothing in the fluid mechanics works quite as you would expect. That's sort of the issue with it. Bit low to get rid of that beacon. You know, you're like, I'll do a pipe here to do this. In fact, there's actually a pretty good example. It may be a bug even, but what's going on there? Why is that not? It's there. Right. Yeah, that's all right. So that's only 3. Probably add you in. Where are we going to get that? So if we take that out. Just here, maybe. Yeah, they always sort of promised they were, or, you know, said it's one of the things they wanted to fix, change, or update. And there were several Friday facts about it. And then eventually they just sort of said, nah, we're not doing it. If that was an admission of defeat or what, really. How many have I got now? So I got 1 there, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got my maths wrong. We have 25 of these. 4, 8, 12, 16, 24. Yeah, I got my maths wrong, didn't I? Because that only gives me 6 sets of pipes. Huh. 8, 16. I should have hooked 3 together. Oh, I'm going to have to redo it. That was dumb. Let's have another go. Oh, we're still waiting on the spiders to do anything. Come on, lazy bones. It's a refinery. I always have too much of one item and not enough of another. The classic. The classic. Yeah, there are. It's. I say it's. I mean, this isn't. It doesn't solve that problem. That's why I've had to put this ridiculous thing in, because, you know, I needed somewhere to get rid of petroleum and light oil, basically, in order to give me more heavy oil. And this kicks in. If this tank I chucked in goes below 2,000, these two kick in order to suck petroleum and light oil out of the system, because I have nothing else to do with them. You know, what I should really be doing is using. It should be part of this, as it were. Maybe it brings, you know, solid fuel or something down and turns it into rocket fuel, or, you know, maybe feeds it into the satellite or something like that. But that's a heck of a lot of faffing about, considering I just needed to make some belts. That's all I needed to do. Right, let's have another go then. So we only want to hook up 3. In fact, not 4. How can we do that? So we can do these 3. Like this. Put you there. Oh no. I have to go. That to there, that to there. I'll put some of these back in, basically, once I've got the pipe sorted. If there's any gaps I can slot them into. Right, so that gives me 1. Then we can do these 3. Some close together. Oh. Like that. But yeah, it's like coal liquefaction is way better, basically, for just about everything. Kind of decided. I mean, it gives you a better ratio heavy, you know, if you're making lube. Perfect for plastic because essentially, you know, you don't need anything else. Because, you know, plastic is coal plus, you know, petroleum, so you can just crack everything else to petroleum. You've got the coal on hand. So, go... Oh. And then if we connect these boys up again. Oh. That one. Not connected yet. So you 3 go together. Oh, we take the... Could... what's that? Oh. What about... take it this way? Take it. Right, there we go. So, a couple more. Put this one to these. Oh yeah, so I'm gonna have one left over, aren't I? Well, not left over. So put these in basically all together. Here they are. Oh. That there. That. It's there. It's up here. It's there. That's a good idea. I may use that for plastic. Yeah, plastic is perfect for using coal liquefaction. Basically, you know, because I mean, it provides everything. Basically, it's not efficient, obviously, for burning fuel. I mean, you can even convert some of it into solid fuel, because there's a weird, it's not weird, but there's a hierarchy in the game of fuels. One thing I think a lot of people don't know is that wood and coal are basically identical, because a single bit of wood and a single bit of coal are like 2 to 1, but wood stacks to twice as big as coal, so it's like effectively it's the same fuel. But anyway, I mean, obviously wood's dependent on you chopping down trees, and so it's not quite the same thing. But basically, as you go from coal to like solid fuel, which is oil sort of, but you can make it out of coal, and then rocket fuel and nuclear fuel. Each of them are more energy dense than simply the sum of the previous items that you used to make them. So I can't offhand remember what the numbers are, but some of them are there. Look. It's all the wrong way around. Oops. What's going on there? Yeah, I can't remember the exact numbers, but basically, if you stick 5 bits of coal together to make a bit of solid fuel, so I can't remember the number, but then you get more than 5 bits of coal's worth of power, energy out of that bit of solid fuel, and it works like that throughout the hierarchy. But so you can do that and get more bang for your buck out of the coal, because of course you're converting it into oil with no unused byproducts, so you can do that. But what I do is I just burn the coal to make the steam for the coal liquefaction. So all you have to do is bring in the coal, and it gives you the steam for the coal liquefaction, the coal itself for the coal liquefaction, and then of course other coal, the rest of the coal, you combine with the petroleum that you make to make your plastic. It's a perfect setup. You have to, you can work it out yourself, obviously, but it's best done with a calculator, the online calculators, to show you what numbers of machines you need. Of course, you do have to feed in water, but you need water both for the boilers, for the steam, and the cracking. But the other thing, the general piece of advice with or the general solution, as it were, to the I'm not producing the right amounts of things, is cracking, basically. So it's about setting up cracking. Now, I tend to take an approach of just putting in, certainly for when I'm building, when I'm doing my bus and that sort of thing, I just put in more than I need. So I'll have loads of things doing cracking that I don't actually need, if you see what I mean. So I'll have more machines, more chemical labs doing cracking than is strictly necessary. But what that means is you can basically then control it with circuit networks. You can put in the perfect number of machines, to crack heavy to light and light to petroleum that you need. That's probably a better solution. But say I just throw in, so many machines, so many chemical labs that there's none left, as it were. And then I use circuit networks to basically control whether it feeds stuff into the machine, into the chemical labs. So it's probably still here, actually. I don't think I've taken it out, but here we go. So these tanks are wired up to pumps, and the pumps have a condition on them that says, right, well, if you get above a certain level, because that then means there's back pressure, basically. So we have a pump here forcing it into the pipe. So if at any point this can't pump stuff into the pipe, then it will start backing up into the tank. So you put a circuit condition on the pump that says, right, well, you turn on when it gets above a certain level, and that means you know that it's gone past a certain level. But as I say, that's fine if your base is continuously running and making everything, which it would normally be, because you would be running science, and your science will just eat whatever you can produce. But because I've turned everything off apart from belts, I'm getting a backup of light and petroleum. And you can do this in a more sensible way. I've just slapped this together, you know. But you can do this in a much more sensible way where it does actually use the heavy oil, the light oil and petroleum that's left to make fuel, burn it, you know, in a properly controlled, planned out way. But I've just, you know, chucked that together to get rid of it, basically. Because there isn't really a way of like automating its removal as such. Because you can flush tanks, which is one of the great things about them. I won't show it because there's nothing in it, but I think this one would. So you can flush the system, but you have to do that manually. I don't think you can automate that. I don't think, anyway. Maybe you can. Wait, you're going to connect, aren't you? Stop. Oh, no, there we go. Everything hooked up? Oily. Filling up. Yeah, but the beauty of plastic is it's very much self-contained. If you use cold liquefaction, you don't sort of have to worry. That approach I just described of having more chemical labs than you need is fine for plastic, because if you want some coal left over to make the plastic, but if you turn it all in, you just need to turn it all into petroleum. You don't need the heavy and light for anything else other than that. But yeah, as a general thing, you see, you want a lot more petroleum than you do anything else. Because, you use it for sulfuric acid and what else? Rocket fuel, all those sorts of things. But yeah, that's the other thing you can do, you see, is if you've got too much heavy, you can convert it into solid fuel directly. You convert it into light oil. And of course, light oil is used in the rockets, the rocket fuel now. So you want, more than that than you might think. But, yeah, as a general principle. I mean, so all of these, all the science builds all work from that point in. Don't have anything left over. I don't need to flush them, but it's just the bus is not doing anything. So it's got nowhere to just, use up what's, all of the oil. Okay, looks like that's all done. So we've now got an extra one there. They should have now finished. They have. We're loading things in. Awesome. It looks like it's all working, so we'll call that a coal pickup. And then what we need to do is start the base, and it's, what are we at? We're at 20 to 6. Might go a little bit longer today because it's actually end of British summertime. So basically our daylight savings ends today. Means there's like an hour extra of the day, basically. That thing. So although it's 20 to 6, it's actually in a sense, 20 to 5. I don't want to go too late in case there's anyone who wants to do trick-or-treating or anything, because last time it was a thing before COVID. Let's call it done. Tried to do the old thing of turning all my lights off and that. Basically say, you know, I'm not in. Somebody egged my house. It's not very nice. It's not a very nice area though, so. But yeah, now that we're all supposedly post-COVID. This is blue. Is somebody actually... Oh, I put the train limit to 0, didn't I? That's a point. Wonder. I was wondering why, because there's more biters here than I was expecting. It's because I set the train thing to 1 when I was fiddling about with it. So we've done that, made the double oil. These are all properly named. Oh. Did we have any other jobs I was expecting to do with turning? There's a reminder. There's the beacons thing, but we can do that as we're working on it. Yeah, let's start up some science. So, what I'll probably try and do is... So, we'll leave this robot count 1 until tomorrow. So, we'll do a bit more mining. And we'll see what happens. Right, might as well head back to base and restock, etc. Clear out my inventory and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, so I'll clear out, you know, I'll turn the mod Biters Be Gone, it's called. I'll turn that on, you know, tonight sort of thing. Because it takes like 5 minutes to, with this, you know, save file, it takes like 5 minutes to run through because it has to literally go through and delete every single biter. It does take a while to run. So I'll do that, and then tomorrow we won't have any biters on. And we can sort of see, you know, see what's what. What I want to establish now, really, is the power side of it. So basically, you know, we need these to chunk through. They weren't full already from my previous testing. But, yeah, we need them to sort of. Excuse me. With that X-ray embedded. We basically need to see when it's actually making science and all the machines have kicked in and all that sort. Is there enough power? And if not, how much of a deficit is there? You know, is it 1 or 2 gigawatts? Or is it 10 gigawatts? If it's 10 gigawatts, I'm not quite sure what we'll do. I might just flip it over into creative mode and literally spam them in. I can't see it being that big a drop because, I say, it was running sort of okay. It's going to be close, I think. Right, so what we can actually do, turn that off and that off. And we'll see what these get up to. Oh. It feels like I've forgotten one. Like I say, there was one thing I was going to do. Well, there's this. Yeah, actually, we can fiddle about like that while we're waiting. Do I need you to have something different? I think I'm going to turn them off. Right, so I'm not going to need any of you lot. I'll get you all back home, is it? Oh. We'll top up. So what I want to do here, so the difficulty I've got with this is that it consumes way more science than I'm producing. And what that would mean is that these would empty out. So the chests, eventually, it might take a while, but the chests would empty out. And it's not sort of fundamentally a problem. What would eventually happen is that the science being undertaken would be constrained by the trains coming in. So the trains would unload and immediately stuff would go into the science and be consumed. Which is all fine. It's not, I say, not fundamentally a problem. But what I want is one of the nice graphs. So when we do science, that it's producing and consuming. Oh, that's what I've got to fix. So this, you see this dip? It's basically because I partly fixed it by flipping these from fast inserters to stack inserters. But basically what seems to be happening, I think... Is that right? Why are they not in... Let's bring up the production. Ah, the dip's quite quick, isn't it? Let's see if we can hover over. Why are you doing that then? I don't understand why it does that. Because it's like the science turns off for a second. I do wonder if... Oh, here we go. Here's the science kicking in. Yeah, I'd quite like this chart to be straight. Basically, and then we'll have equivalent straight line graphs here. And if I have far more consumption than I do production, what would actually happen is a big dip. So there would be a... Oh, waiting for science packs. Oh, science packs. Waiting for science packs. Science packs. And I don't want it to do that. But this is set up. This is a 16 by 16 grid. And what I'm doing on each of these, rather than do balancing and all that sort of stuff, I'm just side loading onto 16 belts. And of course, you know, it's a binary ratio. So it's four trains, sorry, 4 carriages, outputting to a total of, so they're both outputting on 2 sides, 8. And then I'm feeding them each into 2. Let's just go to, it's 2, 4, 8, 16, basically, that sort of a system. And because I've balanced the output from each set of chests, I don't need to bother with actual balancing, it's just inherently balanced. So we see we've got 4.4/4.5 left in every single carriage. It's never going to work out exactly because you've got different distances of belt, so there's more stuff on each belt basically. But what we need to sort out is the consumption of science But I'm feeding 3 in from the side and white science in from the bottom. And that means that I'm going to have to take them out. So basically I need to take out beacons to slow the consumption of science. But I'm going to have to take them out on the diagonal. Because I need to get it roughly the same. We can produce... It also helps. This is the other thing. Because the target is 5,000. And the builds are all designed to do 5,300 and all. Right? And what that means really... But they're not designed to operate at that. See what I mean? Because of how I've done them with all belts and all that sort of stuff. So what I actually want is under demand. I want some of the machines to kind of be sat idle to make up for the fact that the distribution of material is not great. So we kind of need to hit a nice halfway house. So not, it needs to be above 5,000, but it also needs to be below 5,300. But I have no idea how many beacons I can take out to achieve that, and I need to take them out evenly. That's kind of the trick. But I'm not sure. Because basically, so this one is affecting 4 labs equally. So if I take that one out for each one, the diagonal one, then it should... Let's test it. So that's the point. So we're hitting 50 UPS, which is not bad at all. So given that I've still got some bits to take out and the biter's still hit. But what's actually running? What's actually making science? Because it's really the satellite. When the satellite kicks in... It's not the satellite. The rockets launches. That's the real killer. Yeah, so we're not even making white science yet. There's not one. Which isn't surprising, because they stack to 2,000. Purple is still not running. Why is purple only at 4.6? So there's a problem there somewhere. That be. I can't see any of them not running. But you're not. Oh, you're okay. That one isn't though. What's it waiting for? Nothing. Why wasn't it? I think it might be railway bits. Oh, you're not getting rods. Why are you not? Oh, because you're not getting iron plate. Why are you not getting iron plate? Hmm. Those are solid belts coming in. That's a tricky one. We might have to do some serious work there. Although that's not empty, is it? It's not far off there. Okay. So there's some issue. Reducing them. You're still quite slow, aren't you? Up and down, though. Right. What are we here to do? So what I was thinking, I don't understand. There's that weird dip. It feels like there must be some wrong somewhere with I've done this. As in there's a lab not being fed properly or something. I've run round it a few times. I can't see anything. There's so many of them, though. To tell. It could be a synchronization issue, as in every single inserter grabs off the belt at the same time. And because there's 16 in a row, and it's only half a belt, so it's only being provided with like 23 or something. And each stack inserter grabs 13. So they effectively run out from, for a microsecond. But you'd think they would slowly desynchronize. Anyway, so if we take that out, what happens? This one goes down to 13,070. 2070 versus 245. If I take that one out, do I skip one? Take that one out. These all go down 70. You have to skip one. So skip. Skip. Oops, missed. Skip. Skip. That one. Because they're in basically two machines running slightly slower on both each row and each column. Yeah. So it keeps the draw even. Do I override the stack inserter so it only grabs 6? That's a very good idea. Yes, you can. In fact, that could well be the solution. We might have to put it at something different to 6, though. So what would that be? That would be... Yeah, I think you're right there. I think that's probably the way round it. Would it be 6 or would it be something like 4 or something like that, maybe? Anyway, one problem at a time. So, are we now consuming at something closer 5,000? Not the 10-minute grind. No. So you see, I'll show it coming down. So it is slightly declining there. It's gone down to sort of 5.9 average. 6,000 still. All of these are... Oh, that's the long term. Oh, so blue has kicked back up again. That was probably just you know, Oh, right. There's some kind of dip there, look. Wonder what that was. Yeah, this is clearly an issue. I mean, I'm happy with 4,000. You know, I'm not saying that's a problem. If that's what we end up at, fine sort of thing. Right, so how can I also ensure... So if I then maybe take out... Because the trouble is I can't take out the other diagonal, you see, because then the middle will be uneven. What else could I take out? We could take out... Because it needs to be from these central blocks. Because I could take this one out, but then we would have... these would be losing more effect sources than these other ones, so it would run slower. And it would be those two in the middle. Not that one. In fact, although I could take that out, would that have the same effect? No. Because that's 4 machines, basically. If you take that one out... No, that'd be okay, wouldn't it? Because these would run slower. But let's try it. So if we take that one out and that one... So you're now running at 1895, 2070, 70. Max speed 2245, 1895, 70. So we got two 2070s are 1895. Only one 2070 here. But if we take out this, right at the bottom, you run at 2070? Yeah. So we've now got two 2070s and a 1895 on each row if we take out the very corner one as well. Okay, so we do that. I mean, the other solution is to do the thing I was sort of putting off, which is to put balancers on the train out unloaders. But that's painful because... Make sure, so we've got a 1895, 2070, and another 2070. That's painful because there's not the room for balancers, really. I'd have to do some, particularly this middle bit here. Because I want this, that's how I'm loading them in, double-sided. So I would need to find some way to put some balancers in here. Lane balancing jobs. Right, sort of fine there, but I don't know how I would get them in. We'd have to, do something, maybe sending things around in weird directions. So we've done mining prod. That one, if we just tuck another one in, we should be close. A sensible place. Send the train out, because White Science stacks to 2000, so these have got way more stuff in. It's like literally 10 times as much as these, so effectively it takes 10 train loads of these before it does one of these. But what I've been doing to simulate is just send it back manually. And that then causes the rockets to fire up. So that kills the UPS even more. Right, so, faction again. Science. 1 minute. Why does that not look like it's dropped? It's still a 6. You see, I don't see. It's got to be, like you say, it's the stacks sticking in too much sort of thing. But it's this weird, like, tiny, tiny drop. It could just be some artifact in how it's presenting it, because that makes no sense whatsoever. That chart. Because they're clearly not doing that. I know. But it's sort of has slowly come down. It's not enough, really, is it? It's annoying. What other one could I take out? Well, if I took... Just trying to think it through. Took that one out. That gives me 1720. No, that didn't work, does it? So we could take those two out, and that would be even. 1720, 1895, and obviously the 2070 down the bottom. So. Yeah, okay. I'm amazed that didn't have much more of an effect. Do I need to take out... Let's do it. May abandon this. What's that? Oh. Right. Take some stuff. Okay, so let's see if that made any particular. the other, I could use stack filter inserters, you see. But yeah, if we override this to say, let's try 6, like say. How many do they actually take in? Is it 12? So when it kicks in, So it looks will put. Might actually be better with filters. Anyway. Then on a bit. That. It's weird that it goes so low before it inserts stuff. Think about it. So when's it going to put the next red in? Puts it in when there's only one left. I think that's because... What happens if I put this to 5? What's the perfect number? There's a big... Does it always just wait till 1? Is that just what it does? Yeah, it looks like it just waits till 1. I wonder, I say, if we used stack filters, we made one red, one green. What's that? 5. Because I think it's both of them swinging and sticking, like filling it up, basically, and putting, you know, 12 in because they're doing 2 6s. That's 5. I bet I could use some logic. Put them in earlier. Alright. Right, so if we're saying we've got 16, yeah, okay. Are these purple? Fine. Right, science. And then this is blue. 5. This is, I mean, this is kind of one of the things I really love in the game, but I say I have patience for, like, you know, fiddling with things and making them work slightly better. But I'm not sure I've got the willpower to keep going for lots and lots more streams doing all sorts of stuff like this. Not willpower, interest, really. So I'm going to need a load more stack inserters if I'm going to recreate that. It's also a scale thing, you know. If I make that edit there, I've got to recreate it in all of them because one lab is not going to show up in any kind of stats. So I've got to do it on all of them. It's fine, but I don't even know if I've got however many stack inserters, or I'll have to go and wait for it to make a load. Right, so how are we doing with numbers? So 6:15 as well. It's still doing that thing, you know, a big level swing, isn't it? And it's the automation and it's these two basically. Let's go. No, 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 no. Anyway, how are we doing on the production side of things? They are all bobbling around, which is fine. Blue's all over them. Wonder why that is. I don't care. What? Yeah, it's all over the place now. Right, so what we really want to test is the power. So it's been running for a bit now. Let's have a look at what the power's doing. There you go, you see. It's not going to run the base, is it? Dang. Million solar panels. It's not enough. Yeah, because this would double. That would go up to 5 gig. Let's see. Let's get some white science happening. Send you back. Let's see how. You see, one of the difficulties with the solar, because it will just stop basically. The entire power will just, you know, we'll have the brownouts basically. See the train. There's a train. Yeah, it'll brown out, but it's very difficult to tell how much extra we need. I guess what I could do is hand feed in some nuclear power. So I literally put some fuel rods into like 1 or 2 reactors until there's enough nuclear to help run the base, and then I know, you know, how much extra I would need. Yeah, let's see what it does. We'll go to about 6:30, I guess, or somewhere after that. It doesn't take long for all this to kick in. Because there's, I say, it's a gigantic, so it'll load in loads, because there's loads in the chests basically, so it'll fill this train up, and that'll cause all the rockets to start firing up pretty much immediately. The other question with this is the plastic. I don't know if it's being properly distributed around now. Yeah, so they'll kick in pretty quickly. there's probably a couple of extra rockets been launched where I've been filling about, but here you go. So you see it quickly empties out these or drops these chests. I think it's 10,000 where they kick in, so I've obviously launched a handful of rockets manually. Won't take long. Did I do it on all of them? Maybe. Oh, here we go. In fact, there's one just launched. See, it's got a lot more in it because I've obviously been playing around firing off rockets. But oh, let's have a look. You're getting ready to go. Just what I mean. So it's virtually instantaneously that the rockets start firing. And then they just launch continuously, pretty much. And once they are, this causes all of these machines to fire up. These are a bit more delayed. As you can imagine, because there's all sorts of stuff on the belts and sat in the actual machines. We'll soon see what's going on with the power. So what we're doing, so we're up to 6 gigawatts. So it gets up to about 11, I think. And that's without military running. Maybe we just forget about military. So we're still at the 62 gigawatt draw. Not surprising. A few more of them kicking in now. Yeah, I think I'll have to, if I go over to the nuclear. I mean, the UPS is still at 40. That's kind of interesting. Where's the nuclear? Okay. Head over here. And then we, I say, hand feed in. You know, I'll just chuck a load into a single nuclear reactor each time. And as it sort of ramps up, that'll give us a number. Because it'll take a while for them actually to, because, say, as you know, if you've been playing with them, you have to heat it up to some temperature before it starts producing power. So there you go. Solar panels never stopped at maximum power. And yet we're still not. We're still short, basically. How are we doing on the machines running front? Yeah, you see, we're still not quite that close to everything working yet. We might need quite a lot of extra power then. About you lot. They're still not all running. Low density structures of all. Just the rocket. So using. Is that another one launching? Rocket fuel, but we're nearly there. Just another couple of rows. It might be that the end ones don't run fully because it's that thing where I'm overproducing everything. Oh. Another one going. How about, are we doing, is that happening with all the rocket things? No, this one's behind, obviously, as I say, because I've been manually launching it, so it's a bit slower up. Quite all running, are you? Plastic, no, there's quite a lot of plastic still not. So still 4 yes-ish. 8.6. What are our numbers like? Accumulators. So I guess this gives us another way of mathing it out, you see, is no, that wouldn't give us the shortfall. Here we go. So it's dropping down now. Just as the solar kicks in. As I say, I know we're about 3 gigs short on. And we're going to brown out. Now. Okay. Right, we need to start chucking fuel rods in. It was tantalisingly close there, wasn't it? Wasn't far off. So if I just stick in. Wait. I put it in the wrong thing, didn't I? Yeah, I put it in the output. Idiot. Put it in there. So it'll take a while for this to like properly ramp up to production. Slowly kicking in. Where are you then? I suppose we've technically got the dividends thing as well. What? In fact, maybe if I chuck several in, because one's not going to. So. Do one block, as it were. Yeah. So they're getting up to about 1/3 of a gigawatt. It's interesting that I suppose it makes sense in a way because the issue, you know, I've got 62 gigawatts of solar, and that's certainly enough to run, you know, run the base. You know, the issue is that I'm not able to charge up the accumulators at night. It's not enough headroom because I haven't got 62 gigas, so I've got, you know, the 0.7 of that, so, you know, 70% of that. Because you need the 30% to charge your accumulators. So what did this actually get up to? That got up to 49, didn't it? So what's 49? That's 0.7. It's almost 2/5. Hope that's not right. So that implies we need sort of 10 more gigawatts. Wow. How are we doing on the... Oh, right, they've dropped? Oh no, it's just the average. So there's about half a gig out of 4 of these. Apologies if that's quite loud. I mean, they're all running, aren't they? Cool. So where does that get us? Because what we're looking for is the plateau bit as soon as we get the, you know, the dip, basically. But we need everything to be properly running. So we're at 9.8. And as I say, I know this adds something like 3, something around there. No, that can't be right. 9.8. So it must, yeah, it must have about 1.5. Should make a bit more sense. These haven't filled up yet or anything, have? Okay. Is everyone running fully? Not far off. We're basically... There we go. So they're all running now. They're all running. Okay. Not quite every... Far off. 2 machines not running there. 1 not on 1 sort of half running. How are we doing on the plastic front? Yeah, there's quite a bit still on the belts, aren't there? So that's not too bad. They're all running. Maybe the plastic's okay? Is the plastic production happening? Oh! Well, they're not all quite running at chat. You see, the other thing I can do with the plastic is... I've got too many of these. And that's another thing. I could delete one of these. That would save quite a lot of power. Maybe that's what I should do. Because I don't think they run. They all run, basically. Oh, is there something wrong there? There is, isn't there? Oh, dear. There's an error there. Ah. There's some sort of problem there. Because look, we've got plastic on half a lane of belt, and that's because that's an output. In fact, we've got an extra... That shouldn't be there. Have I got... I don't think I've got... You know, I've got no instruction box in there. Uh-huh. Is that repeated on all of them? Oh, it is. Error in the blueprint. Okay. Yeah, you see, I think this is way more than 3 belts worth of stuff, basically. I think this 9 belts came out of, like, 1 machine, out of 1 set of these. The other thing I'm curious about is the whole, you know, resource side of it. I think we would need to run it for quite a while. You got... before we really started using every single resource. Yeah, resource pack. Oh, I got some news. Some trains using our new thing, so that's good. Have we got anyone here? Doesn't have. So you know, I need to do. At least one train waiting. Ah, so there's one there that might need an extra one. Yeah, you see. How are we doing on the power? What's happening? Is that another brownout, or is that the same brown? I think that's the same brownout. Probably is the game's running at half the speed. Although it says 10 minutes, it's not 10 minutes. It's running at, you know, 30 UPS, so it's actually like 5 minutes. That's like 20 minutes. How are we doing on time? 6:36. Yeah. Cumulus are about to brown out again, aren't they? They didn't really even run. Yeah, I think I'm going to need quite a lot of power. Oh dear. Let's go and we'll go and grab. Oh, we've suddenly gone up to 50 UPS. Haha, that's because. Why is that then? Oh, it's because everything's switched off. Because there's no power. Right, so let's put 10 in there. In fact, did these... they've not run out of stuff, have they? Ow, we've still got loads in. Okay, so what's happening? Oh, they're swapping in now. Crikey. I think we are way off. I think there's a lot more power needed. Because this will take us up to a gig of... nuclear. Well, so why don't I set up 3 of them? So we get 3 of them running. Because that's the equivalent of all the lasers, which we know we're going to turn off. Because we're going to delete the biters. So it's approximately the equivalent. I don't know about you, I wouldn't like to hand feed in nuclear fuel rods into a nuclear reactor, but engineers made of sterner stuff than I am. So that should take us up to 1.5-ish gigawatts, which, as I say, is the equivalent of the lasers, which I know I'm going to delete, or I have no problem turning off, and a bit of, you know, radar edge. We don't need. Don't need hardly any of them. So I guess that's 2 You know, if we turned off basically all the... Where are we getting to? Say what we want is for the accumulators to fill. There we go. And then we get that little step. You know, that little... You've got space. Right, so... what was it? Just looking at the calculate. 9 tab. It gives you somewhere. Arrest. I think. Power, there we go. So that's one. Ah, that can't be right. It must ignore beacon. Is it saying it's 12.3 gigawatts? We got way more than that. But, you know, we've got 12.3 plus... That's 30. 43. And then all the ancillary stuff I've got as well. Maybe we're not as far off as I think then. This is creeping up really slowly, isn't it? How far in? I mean, we're most of the way through the day and it's only a third charge. Crikey. Right, okay. Let's go and beef up nuclear. I'm going to have to stop soon anyway because I need to some dinner. But I'm sticking so many in just because it'll keep them running for ages because they don't actually burn it very quickly. You know, so these first ones have still got 7 in. So rumbling. So we'll do. There's 2 left, 1 left. 1 left. Stick these in here. Oh, and I can do this myself. I don't use streamy thing. Just getting up to about half charge. I'm being generous there, aren't I? Now we're up to about half charged. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to stop. Basically, I'll keep fiddling with this and work out how much power I actually need. There isn't much more room savings in terms of, you know, things I can easily turn off. I could obviously disable a few other things. For example, the bus, the whole bus I could disable. That might be quite tricky because there's a lot of power connections, but we don't need it really to do anything until we identify, you know, like we need to do 2 more say outposts, you know, 2 more production. You know, I don't need anything else, and there's a lot of stuff stored up where I've been deleting things. I mean, the beacons are the biggest draw. So one of the tweaks we could do is we could go around to these outposts and chop off. In fact, you know, do I need so many outposts? Really? You know, I don't know really. You know, a lot of them don't appear to be doing anything, so could I just turn them all off? You know, there's a train there. That one's in use. Oh, wow. Oh, dear. This one's had an argument with a biter. Okay. It's lost a traction unit, so it's not... I wonder who you're for. You're for blue science, are you? I wonder if this was the cause of the problem, that it ran into a biter. How would that work then? Because they usually just stop. Anyway, I'm getting distracted again. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how many things we actually need. I'm, you know, having massively overproduced them. Have I gone too far? Can I just turn some of them off? But we need it to be running for quite a while to really establish that. How are we doing, Pat? So we're already into accumulator territory. Yeah, okay. I'm going to have to stop. So I'll be back tomorrow. I will have figured out the power situation and either resolved it by going around and, you know, deleting and turning off a few things. Or, well, I'll be honest, I'll just cheat, basically. I'll flip into creative mode and stick a load of solar panels in. To compensate for that, I will then produce the number that I made and blow them up. Just because I think that's a bit more honest, doing it that way. But it means I can finish it off tomorrow, because I really want to... I really want to have a stream tomorrow. I mean, if it's that disastrous, I will do one next week instead. Stick in 1 million solar panels again. I say stomach is rumbling, so I gotta go. Right, so yes, if you have been watching, thanks for joining me, and I hope it was enjoyable, and you might consider coming back for another one, or watching some of my VODs on YouTubes or any of that stuff, if you're depending on where you're watching. I just wanted to see if it lasted a bit longer. It's slightly longer, isn't it? Anyway. Yes, so I'm in Trismegistus. This has been this is not satisfactory. Been Factorio. Thanks for watching. Yes.